I want to spend some time today just welcoming you all to this very first presentation. Thank you for being present. I see our elders, I see our guests, I see our scholars, and it is absolutely my pleasure to say thank you. In this season where everything is different than we could ever have imagined, it's important that our youth know that they have a community of elders who love them and see them as valuable. And so I appreciate your presence today. I want to acknowledge Jaina Moore, who is the head of the Witherspoon Jackson Development Corporation and who has made it a major priority to support our youth. This is a program in Princeton, New Jersey, and we are in Mercer County. Right now, 2020 has been an interesting year for all of us. And I often say 2020 has given much clarity about who we are as a people. And while we understand fully the complexity of social unrest, one thing that we must always do, and that is check on the children. The African principle, where when we greet each other, the first question we ask is not how are you, but how are your children? How are your family members? That is where we are with Ease Academy. And so I want to first simply say, how are you and your family? And praying that everyone is well and able today. I want to acknowledge not only the elders on the call, but I want to acknowledge the students who have for the last 10 weeks have decided to rock with us. This is an experiment on how we are agents of change for ourselves. And with no promise of gifts or rewards, they showed up on Saturdays for 2.5 to 3 hours every Saturday to learn not only about the history of Black business and entrepreneurs in Princeton, but the history of Black people and a mindset of excellence. And so I want to say thank you also to our children. So with that, we're going to jump ahead and get started and give you a quick orientation to our program. This is being recorded so that it will be available for you and others. So with that in mind, we're going to ask that you mute yourselves if you have not already. And here we go. So this vision of the Witherspoon Jackson Development Corporation is large. And it started perhaps 2, 3, 4 years ago when this organization decided we have to do something to reinvigorate business. And not only that, but to help our children to understand its value. And so I'd like to take some time and invite Jaina Moore to give us a little bit of insight about how this program came to be.
Thank you, Dr. Joy. Yes, this is a real important endeavor and an initiative of the Witherspoon Jackson Development Corporation. Much of our work, as you may know, since we have discussed the organization before, has focused on trying to sustain the ownership and residency of historic families who live in, and some who unfortunately have had to move out of the Witherspoon Jackson neighborhood. Now, there are many parts to that because there are generations that we're talking about here. It's not just current residents. And then there are their children or their heirs who are various ages, but are, excuse me, my dog has barked, uh, who are, children who are various ages. I mean, some children are, adults, but some are grandchildren who are younger and younger. And many of them, some of you know this from your own relatives or having moved to the neighborhood or near the neighborhood in the town more recently, have not been able to afford to stay in the neighborhood. And there are many dynamics involved in that. Um, I don't want to go into the technicalities of what housing costs mean, but because the elders on the line certainly know that, and the youth will learn about that. Of course, there's rent or there's mortgage and there are property taxes. Those things tend to, uh, particularly property taxes, um, increase with time as an individual homeowner's earning capacity may diminish, um, or lessen. And in many cases, those are people who worked for other people. And it's interesting because when you have a job working for someone, and in the past, the structure has been that you have some kind of retirement account that the employer holds that looks towards your being able to sustain yourself in the future when you're no longer working for anyone. What the neighborhood's history has been for uh, years, primarily due to inability to get jobs working for other people, is that self-sustaining activities, um, and self-employment uh, sustain people longer than a job in a company. And unless you have, because not everyone has retirement benefits, you are needing to plan along, not just for your current um, or your graduation from high school or graduation from um, an associate's program or from college or for other degree type programs, not just for that particular perhaps year upon graduation that you're commencing life. You want to look at how you're sustaining life. And just as we're trying to sustain uh, residency and home ownership in the neighborhood, it's a long span that you're considering. It's not that you have to figure out what you want to be. It's more about who you want to be. I want you to understand, and I appreciate um, the fact that this group of students, well, we may have started out with more, um, it wasn't how fast you finish a race. It's not speed. That's a competition, and that's something we decided not to do this year because it really uh, did not have a place in really motivating students to do what needs to be done within themselves. It's really about finishing the race, and that's about perseverance. And so this activity that you're engaged in has its foundation in a history of the Witherspoon Jackson neighborhood where there were many businesses that sustained many people and families well beyond the jobs that they couldn't get for reasons of racism and the like, well beyond the what jobs in even today's world can do, because you'll see, and if you've read the newspaper or watch the news, there are particular activities that are in terms of jobs that are more vulnerable than others. And so what you want to do in looking at your future is how you sustain within a, a sustainable um, career, of which you could do many things, not just one, an activity that continues to develop within you and contribute to society, because that always pays back. So I'm really happy that Witherspoon Jackson Development Corporation Board agreed to sponsor a program this year, which wasn't in person, didn't offer stipends, but there may be some surprises at the end, and get to that after we have the presentation. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jaina. Thank you, Jaina. Here's the thing to our students, I need you to know that you are scholars. And I want to put this in context for you as we get ready for our morning coffee. And so, in the spirit of our ancestors and the guideposts along this journey toward excellence, I want to honor the gift of joy that you have given to us and remind you with a quote from Bettina Love when she wrote the book, We Want to Do More Than Survive. Finding joy
Right.
in the midst of pain and trauma is the fight to be fully human. A revolutionary spirit that embraces joy, self care, and love is moving toward wholeness. Acknowledging joy is to make yourself aware of your humanity, your creativity, your self determination, your power, and your ability to love abundantly. Freedom dreams are brought to life through joy and love of dark people's light. Joy makes the quest for justice sustainable. And so I honor you by first reminding you that there is a history not only of our excellence, but our joy. And it comes, yes, from hard work, but it also comes from cooperation from within our community and outside of our community. And in the spirit of all that, I want to welcome our guest for today by reminding us of this history. The NAACP was established at the top of the turn of the century by some of the smartest peoples in this country. They, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, was a group of Black and white and brown, pretty much like Witherspoon Jackson Development Corporation. But look at this image. You may or may not know some of the faces, but there's Dr. Du Bois, there's Ralph Bunche, there's Abram Harris. There are people who would go along and really, and then Joel Spingard, a Jewish man and his wife establish this coalition to sort of honor young people. And so there's this history. And so it is with that that I want to talk about our morning coffee speaker. You know, those of you who are on the line, we had a routine on Saturday where we'd have morning coffee. I call it coffee because abbreviated it stands for Culture of Excellence. We would invite a speaker to come and talk to us for a little while about what they know in business and remind us we've had several speakers that we have loved. Then I would provide academic support for in school things that, well, you know, learning right now is challenging. But then a lot of the times we would spend time out in the field and doing other things. So we had an opportunity this year to uh, be ushered through our history and through the neighborhood by Miss Shirley Satterfield. And so we say thank you. We also had Yaina walk us through some of the businesses that are part of this group, and we say thank you. But today I want to take some time to actually introduce you to one of my colleagues at who works with me. I work with him with the NAACP and the youth of Trenton AXO program. Welcome, Les Samuel. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about Trenton AXO.
Thank you, Dr. Joy. Are you able to hear me well? Awesome. My name is Leslie Samuel Jr. I am the first vice president for the Trenton branch, NAACP, and I am also the chairman for the Trenton branch NAACP's ACSO program. And ACSO is an acronym. And I'm sure, like many of you, um, our life is just filled with all types of acronyms and things that we have to just kind of learn to memorize. And so AXO is a really cool acronym, and I love it because it stands for Academic, Cultural, Technological, Scientific Olympics. And the reason that I love it is because academics is first, you know, and I've been working with young people probably for about 20, 25 years now. And the one thing that I've always admired about the people who mentored me is they always had an affinity for academics, and academics was always first and foremost in their teachings and in their preachings. Academics was always first and foremost. So I love that academics is first in this acronym. I love that culture is a part of this acronym. And I love that technology and science is a part of this acronym. And the AXO program is an Olympics. And it's not just when I think of Olympics, I think of throwing the javelin and running in races and track and swimming and diving and all types of Olympic sports. But this Olympics is actually an Olympics of the mind. And we aim to inspire young people, especially those young people in high school, all around the United States of America. AXO was birthed by a man named Vernon Jarrett back in the year of 1978. And it started out as a science competition. And Vernon Jarrett wanted to he looked at sports and he looked at entertainment, and he said to himself, you know, young people are always being pushed and inspired to be the best athletes and to be the best entertainers. And he says they get all types of rewards for being a great athlete and all types of rewards for being a great entertainer. He said he wanted to do something just a little bit different. And so he created a science competition, and he wanted to reward young people for their academic caliber. And I think that that's really pretty awesome, you know. And out of that, the NAACP sponsored and became a collaborator and a partner with Vernon Jarrett, and took on this science competition and expanded it and opened it up to just more than science, you know. And it's a program for high school youth who have all types of academic based talents and also artistic based talents. And it's a program that goes year round. Here in Trenton, we have our program and we invite everyone, all young people from the Mercer County area. Sometimes people look at the Trenton branch NAACP as a branch that just focuses and targets Trenton issues. But I tend to I tend to generalize a little bit more, because when I think of Trenton, I don't just think of the city of Trenton. I think of Princeton. I think of Ewing Township. I think of Hamilton. I think of the Windsors. You know, I think of Lawrence and all of these outlying townships that are filled with people of brown and black complexions who aim and inspire to be excellent, who are raising families and wanting young people to be excellent and to achieve their goals and to make goals and objectives. So I think of the whole Mercer County area. And that's what the AXO program here in the Trenton branch kind of represents. It represents a conglomerate of people from all over Mercer County, and young people really enjoy being a part of the Trenton branch AXO program. So ultimately, AXO is a competition, and it happens on two tiers, two levels. And the first level is a state-based competition, and I'm going to tell you about the categories in a little bit. And then the ultimate is the national competition. So what happens is our young people, we start meeting around October, November time, and we talk about civics. We talk about um, um, community and environmental things, and then we kind of start focusing on what the competition and what AXO is about. And I think that what you'll find if you talk to any of the young people that are part of the AXO program is that we try to establish a familial type of environment first. You know, we try to make sure that all of us knows each other. We try to make sure that we meet regularly. Before COVID, we would spend a lot of time together, and we would meet every week, every Thursday. At one point, we started at Young Scholars Institute. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Young Scholars Institute with the renowned Jerry Morrison. And then we ventured out a little bit, and we made a relationship with Thomas Edison State University now. And we ventured out a little bit further, and we built a relationship with Mercer County Community College. So we stay very, very, very much, we stay very much inside the community of Trenton. But like I said, we opened it up for all youth throughout the Mercer County area. And we start in October, November time, and by December, I think we've built some really cool relationships amongst the adults and amongst the young people. In February, we start working with the famous sorority Delta Sigma Theta sorority incorporated, and we participate in a Black History program, and we do some community service. We just do a whole lot of things that build teams and build relationships. And then it's time to get into the competition time. And the competition, I'm just going to quickly let you know that the competition is, like I said, academic based and artistic based. And I know that this is a entrepreneurial type of program. And but all of the categories that we work with in the sciences, it might be architecture or biology or chemistry or computer science, earth and space science, engineering, math, medicine and health, and physics. All of these categories, although they're science and STEM-based categories, there's a way that entrepreneurship can be connected to it. We also have humanities with music composition, and original essay and playwriting and poetry and short story. And those are writing type of categories where young people can build projects, build writing projects, and present those projects to a board of judges. And the judges judge those different categories, and the kids are able to achieve a gold, a silver, or a bronze medal, just like the Olympics that the sporting Olympics that in that take place in the summer and winter time. Then there are performing arts like dance, ballet, and contemporary and modern and traditional dance and dramatics, and music instrumental and music vocal and oratory and poetry performance, and the visual arts, drawing, filmmaking, painting, photography, and sculpture. And this about 2 years ago, we added a new competition category called culinary. So we now have culinary and business entrepreneurship that are categories that young people can compete in as well. So I don't want to take too much of your time. Everyone can go to www.actso, spelled out, ACTSO, New Jersey, spelled out, .org. And you can go to that website, and you can navigate that website and see all that ACTSO has to offer young people. And I just urge each of you to think about becoming active again with the NAACP. It's an organization that is a premier organization, the oldest and the boldest civil rights organization, and it does so much for the community. And I guess I can announce that I am president-elect. So in January, I will take the helm of the Trenton branch NAACP, and I want to make sure that the NAACP in Trenton is reaching out to all county, all townships within Mercer County, and doing great things within the region. All right, Trenton, yes, but also Princeton, also Hamilton, also Lawrence, also Ewing, also the Windsors. Okay, we need to get out and we need to come together, and that's what it's going to be about. My platform is Empower Mercer. All right, so this here program is for young people, and that's why I'm here today. I'm not going to get on the big spill about the NAACP in general, but I invite each of you, if you know high school kids, to please reach out to Dr. Joy and allow her to invite you to our ACTSO student sessions, which take place on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. And I will do my best, along with our mentors and our executive committee, to inspire your young people to achieve more and to seek excellence in all that they do. Remember that the AXO program is an academic first, academic based program, academic and arts, and we're here for you. And last thing I want to say before I say anything else, if you do not have your NAACP membership, I need you to get activated today, and then you can help us to help the community to empower Mercer. Thank you, Dr. Joy. I love you, and I love all of you that have joined us here today, and I look forward to seeing you as mentors or judges and or your young people as participants in the Trenton Branch AXO program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Les. That has been amazing. I hope you'll stick around because we have fantastic presentations. The students have prepared for today to actually give us some insight because, yeah, that's where we are going, right? The idea that we build capacity for excellence by working together as a community and allowing ourselves to see who we are by connecting to other people. We are a community and we are certainly better together. And so we are preparing for student presentations. And so I want to take a few moments to actually talk about what the presentations are. When I was first brought into this program through Witherspoon Jackson and our school district, we were presenting the ideas of the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, understanding that entrepreneurship is a mindset. That was the initial goal. And so we used a lot of that to start thinking about how we can actually provide not just an enrichment that supports community and supports the curriculum that they would do at school, but supports community as well. And so from that, when we pivoted to remote instruction last spring, and Jaina came to me and said, Joy, what do you think? I said, summer, not going to happen, but perhaps we can do a Saturday academy. And we started to imagine what this looks like. And so we started out with about 9 students, but we have 4 that have been here the entire time. And so it is my absolute pleasure to actually present to you 3 of the 4 Ease Academy scholars and their 3 to 5 minute pitches today. We're going to start with Euphemia. We're going to start with Euphemia. And I am excited because her presentation is amazing. So, wrong one, exit, go back, close it, stop sharing. The one on the right, use the down arrow on the right. Okay, here we go.
Hi, my name is Jaina Tajeda. My company name is
Start sharing your screen. Share your screen.
Hi, my name is Jaina Tajeda. My company name, You Wear That Crown, Luxury Bath Products. A company where you don't have to be afraid to be calm, relax, and have joy. Sometimes you just want products that are healthier for your skin. Sometimes you just want products that are safe from chemicals. Sometimes you just want products that are safe for the environment. My company wants to be a solution to help people solve all these problems. The symbol of the crown. A crown is something that someone puts on to make them feel special because people are stressed because of family. People are stressed because of work and school. People are stressed because life is hard. Some of my sample products. I made a Christmas candle in red and green. I made a white candle. Made my signature soap. A activated charcoal tea tree soap, honor of my brother. And then pink and green to represent AKA. These are all the ingredients that are safe for your skin, free from the chemicals, and safe for the environment. Either other measure. My ask, I need help designing a marketing plan to live up to our history and the hopes of the past to be successful business owners. Thank you.
Let's show by reaction, family. Let's show by reaction our gratitude to Euphemia. Yay! All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
Wonderful, Fina.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Absolutely.
I like the pink and green one.
Thank you.
It was-
So Euphemia,
Nice job.
tell us a little bit about the crown. Why did you choose the crown, and who is your product line designed for?
I choose my product line because I named it You Were That Crown because black moms are always working for everyone like a queen works to benefit her people. But black moms do it under a lot of stress and it's very hard for them when their sons and daughters get killed. It's very hard for them to deal with that. They do it anyway, showing the world their strength and brilliance like the queen they are. These luxury soaps and fragrance candles are made in their honor to empower them that they should wear that crown because and while using my products, they can be calm, relax, and have joy while wearing that crown.
I am so excited, Euphemia. That's amazing. As a mom, I absolutely appreciate that you are designing products. I mean, I'm not going to be mad because I'm a Delta that you got pink and green soaps and not red and white ones. But, I'm not going to be mad at you. I appreciate also that you have an activated charcoal tea tree soap for men. So what was that? Can you show us again that sample product? What is that on top of that sample product?
Dried flowers
Ah,
and powdered gold.
excellent. Yes, I have a son who said men want to smell nice too. So I appreciate your product and your design. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. All right. So Jordan, are you on the line? Jordan?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Introduce yourself. You don't have a presentation, but introduce your idea.
Yeah. So my name is Jordan Tajeda. I'm 15 right now. I go to Notre Dame high school. I play 3 sports, and yeah. My idea was about like educating not just like a lot of like the older people, but also the young people, in like a way that how we talk, a slang basically. And I came up with the idea of saying cap, and which is like kind of basically cap is basically like saying you're lying or something like that, right? And I was thinking that, you know, I was like, watching a lot of like, documentaries, and all this stuff, and searching up stuff about, my history and everything. I saw a lot of lies, and it was just pretty, it was pretty heartbreaking, I guess you could say, like what they did to us and everything back in the past, and they lied about it, and they just didn't really think that we wouldn't find out. Well, I think that I want to come in like I want to. My idea is to like educate, not just like, but like my generation. I'm trying to educate my generation in a way that they can understand it, and that like they could basically tell to their friends about it, and they can educate their friends, and it just like basically um an effect that could just expand and expand mostly across like maybe like around the world. And it's not just to like those shame on all the white people, to educate them too, but to show what they lied about and what they did, and how much it hurted us. And so that's like my idea for it. Yeah.
Jordan, I think that is fantastic. In 2020, we are learning how important it is for everyone to have a better anti-racist education. And so I appreciate your idea to design materials. So that would be like a nonprofit business because you're not out to make money, but you're out to change lives. And so let's show by reaction. Let's show by reaction our gratitude for Jordan for sharing his ideas. We appreciate you so much. And so next up is Manuel Tajeda. Manuel Tajeda, are you ready?
Oh, yes, I am ready.
Excellent.
So, hello everyone. I'm here to present my own company, Untitled, where every anime character is black and super. So, hello, my name is Manuel Tajeda, and I am a senior at Princeton High School. I'm here representing Gunam Video Games, a digital universe where every character is black and super. My company is seeking support for design and coding. We want to create games that feature black anime characters and black culture through clothing and geography that teaches gamers everywhere how to depend on the strength of our history. My first entrepreneurship experiences in Princeton allowed me to learn about Black history in the community. The shop owners and workers and ministers and the artists were heroes that very few people know about. Old streets that were blocked off can make a perfect game design streetscape. The reason I made this game is because I made it for my heart, because this game will be very nice and fun for everyone to play. I also thought of an idea where we can make black anime characters in the game instead of copying other anime characters' names and clothes. I think it would be best if we create pure black clothing because it will show the hero's everyday life as a black man or woman. So, data from TechCrunch. According to a 2020 article about characters in video games, many people believe we must confront bias in the game industry. And as you're looking at this data, you're just wondering, well, what does this data indicate? Well, let me tell you. Black characters comprise 10.7% of characters, roughly equal with the recent census data that 12.3% of Americans are Black, and only 12.7% of characters were Latino, relative to 12.5% representation in the US population. An investment in my company is an investment in representation. I believe that Black and Latino children can make their dreams come true. One story, one history, and one game at a time. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Very nice.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Excellent. So tell us, Manuel, about gaming. Why is gaming an important industry that you think should be supported? What would you gain from that?
Well, I think of it as gaming to be like important for us because like every game that I play for myself, always see as the white person to be the main character as the hero of the game, instead of seeing ourselves as Black people to be the main character of our own story and be the heroes that, save everybody else's lives.
Excellent. I love that you were thinking about Princeton and our Witherspoon Jackson community perhaps as a place to create a streetscape and the characters. We have fine heroes from the past and our present, including Paul Robeson, including Shirley Satterfield, including all Jaina Moore has relatives that we could just sort of draw from. And I just think about Heinz Plaza, for example, and Mr. Heinz. I think about the family members and the elders that we have that are alive right now. Can you see somebody making a character out of Mr. Larry? Oh my goodness, that would be so much fun. So with all of that, I I think I agree that representation of characters in the various forms is great, and I appreciate that you asked for support. So those of you who are listening on the line, these young people need support in designing, coding, learning how to do game design, and so they need that. And so we appreciate all of you listening. So our last presentation for the day is Miss Crayland Zacharias. I think I spelled your last name wrong, but it's Crayland. And so are you ready, Crayland?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Let me just share my screen. Hi, everyone. My name is Crayland Zacharias. I'm currently a senior at Princeton High School. I'm interested in astrophysics and material science. And during my free time, I like to go on YouTube and watch either K-pop videos or watch videos on different cultures and different countries, and sometimes there's problems that are within those countries. And the name of my nonprofit organization is FOSI. And the motto is where you eat and learn. And I'll go about more in depth about that. So some questions I want you guys to self-reflect on are, do you learn enough about the process of making food? Do you learn enough about the scientific perspective of food? And do you learn enough about the cultural and historical perspective of food? If you said no to most of these, that is a problem, and I am proposing a solution. FOSI is an app that helps children and adults learn more about the scientific, historical, and cultural perspective to food making. Children these days do not do enough hands-on learning and do not do enough real-life application experiments and learning. With FOSI, we as people are able to learn more about different aspects of food. Not only can this bring us together, but make us intellectually smarter. The FOSI will be an app, and so each section or tab of the app will be separated by different aspects of food: the historical perspective, the scientific, the cultural, and lastly, the making. So it's more interactive. And on each tab, there will be sub-tabs where you'll be able to learn about the specific foods. For example, if you wanted to make bread, you'll be able to make bread. Or if you wanted to learn the history of bread, you're able to click on that tab. Just so I wanted to get more into the hands-on learning and the real-life applications. These are just some quotes from some websites I took out that are extremely important to why hands-on learning is important, why real-world applications are important. So it is important to know that when people hear the word creativity, their minds go immediately to subjects like art and music. While these are of the course important classes for children and should play a role in your child's education, they're not the only way your child can be creative. Given enough practice, it's possible for your child to put their creativity to use in classes as diverse as history, science, and even math. Now, the real world applications allow students to progress and can give them initiative to learn and care about what is going on within the classroom. Material can be easier to understand when related to real life issues through examples. So FOSI, where you eat to learn. And I'll speak more about why I think personally why this is such an important project. So as I am making food, and as I showed with bread and yeast, when we're speaking about the scientific perspective, you might just be making food and you really aren't thinking about the scientific perspective. But as you're making bread, maybe you notice that you're using a little bit more yeast than you were using before and you saw it grow larger. That is something we should learn about, and as children should learn about the scientific perspective of that, because as I said, that's where hands-on learning comes into play and real life applications comes into play. Because they might be learning chemistry in school and they're like, oh, okay, yeast, why is that important? But as we are making food, you get to eat and learn. In the historical and cultural perspective, I always believe it is important for us to learn more about ourselves and our culture, but to also learn about different cultures. So as a Hispanic student, I always eat tamales and I always eat tortillas. So I always am learning about my own culture and how tortillas were made and how tamales were made in the historical perspective. But also as a learner and a researcher, I'm always trying to learn about different cultures, let's say, Asian culture and how mamusas are made, or different breads in the Indian community. And that's how in this app you're able to learn about more about yourself and more about different cultures that aren't just in the United States or maybe your African origins, where you eat and learn. So when you make food, you get to eat and learn. Thank you for listening, and I hope you join me on my project to foci. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So Crayland, foci. And so this focus, you are focused. I love the title. I love the name of the company. And so we got a chance to talk about app making. Do you actually see this being something that you can implement this year?
Yes, with the help of people just trying to teach me some coding methods, I think this could be a really awesome project. And I didn't really explain this clearly, but as a low income child, not many opportunities are given to low income children. So maybe learning at home, making different foods with their parents, and especially since low income children, you have to take the responsibility of making food for yourself, you can learn while doing that.
Absolutely. And I appreciate also the way that you're talking about extending that cultural experience. I don't know about others on the line, but I learned how to cook from my grandmother. And so now that we have to be physically distant, this is perhaps a way to connect. So you could call your grandma and record her as she's making a tortilla or a tamale and explain that recipe, then linking to the video of your grandma speaking, and then adding the recipe, and then saying, okay, well, what would happen if instead of corn flour, I use wheat flour? I love it. I think it's a powerful tool, and I think it's a necessary tool, especially for now. I'm looking at Mama Fern, for example, and I know how many youth who can't enjoy her lovely mac and cheese are like, I need some of Mama Fern's mac and cheese. Well, if she could put that recipe out there and use the app to do it, I think it would be an amazing thing. Let's clap it up one more time for all of the young people who presented. This
Woohoo!
Woohoo! This is amazing. And so we won't keep you for much longer, but I want to get ready to just simply say one of the things that we're working on is making sure that we always express gratitude. And so we want to thank Jaina Moore and the Witherspoon Jackson Development Corporation Board of Directors and others. We want to thank Shirley Satterfield, who took us on our tour. We want to thank Denise Leslie of the Paul Robeson House, who was one of our coffee speakers, Monique Nicole, a young entrepreneur, a social media entrepreneur, Arsha Dilbaji, the entrepreneur who started the Zage app and perhaps was a source of inspiration. I have also prepared thank you gifts for all of you. I have a copy of Stamped, a young adult version of this fantastic book written by Ibram Kendi and modified by Jason Reynolds. Each of you will get a copy of Stamped. Each of you will get a copy of Stamped. And Yaina, would you like to tell them the other thing that they will get? You're muted.
There's another aspect of entrepreneurialism, and that is something you've pointed out in some of your presentations, and that is investors helping to support. And there's a whole investment side of it. So there is a book about teen investing called Teen Investor that you will receive, and you will receive a Visa gift card.
So, young people, I am so excited. Keep in mind, we are just grateful for you sharing your time and your gifts with us. And to our community, do you have any questions of our scholars or anything that you would like to say to encourage them as we get ready to walk on out into our Saturday?
I
I'd
guess
like
I,
to say, oh,
nope,
okay.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Muted or not. I'd like to say thank you very much for your participation and that you stuck it through, like I said earlier. please, when you speak with your friends, we hope to do something similar next term, after the holidays, January, February, and encourage them to participate as well. This is not sort of a terminal program where now you're ready to go off and do something. There are other efforts, and as the gentleman from the NAACP has pointed out, there's the AXO program, but this gets many people started. And we want to start, 4 more people, or more than 4, hopefully, in thinking about their future with a broader perspective. So thank you so much for participating.
And I'll piggyback on Ms. Moore. It's so important for you to encourage your friends. The determination of a person's character is sometimes the people that you hang around. And if you can bring people that think like you, that have same aspirations and great ideas as you, to bring them into your environment, to bring them into your cipher, you guys can bounce ideas off of one another. You guys can encourage one another. When someone is down, the other person could be the pick me up. When the other person, it's just so much more that you can do together. And I'm just proud of each and every one of you. You showed perseverance. You showed grit. You showed knowledge content. You showed marketing capabilities. When you start putting these business plans and things together, you got to think about finance, you got to think about marketing, you got to think about human resources, you got to think about a whole lot of things. And the more that you guys work together, the higher you will rise, the more that you will get accomplished. And I'm just very, 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 very excited about your future. All right. And consider the AXO program as a supplemental program to what you're doing. I think I've heard that each of you are seniors. AXO program can be an opportunity for you to earn some money, because at the national level, you win money if you do well in your competition. So, this is an opportunity for you to take some money away with you to college or whatever you're going to do for your post-secondary endeavor. So great job, young people.
Excellent, excellent. And so with that, I will bid you all peace and love. The Soul Train used to say, I bid you. They don't know nothing about Soul Train, but
The awards program.
about it. Yeah, but I love you so much. Crayland, Euphemia, Jordan, and Manuel, you're the reason why I show up, for real. For real. You're the reason. And so I'm grateful for you and look forward to perhaps seeing you in the spring, but I hope that you will join forces with me as I support youth in Trenton AXO. Let me know, and we'll build these out. I love you all, and I'll get you your books next week when I come back downtown. But I appreciate you. Everyone stay safe and well.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.